Hi, my name's David Wright, and today I'm talking to Javier Gonzalez and Bruno Perez. I hope I said that right, Bruno. And they've come up with this fantastic way that maybe British people here in Spain can start teaching English to Spanish people. And they've got this great system. I've been through it myself. I've paid for it. I've been started going through the course. And I think it could be a great way that British people living in Spain could generate some income here in Spain. But don't listen to me. Let's hear it from them themselves. So let's add them to the call. So we've got Javier at the top. Hi, Javier. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you properly.
And Bruno as well. Did I say your name right, Bruno?
Yeah, that was fine. I've been called worse.
Okay, great. So let's start off first of all, Javier. What is this course all about, and what will people learn? The masterclass. That if they join like I did the first one, I've been through it, but just explain what people will get for their money.
Okay, so there they have summarizing the whole book I wrote on the methodology. This is a methodology or like natural. It's called methodology for the natural acquisition of second languages. In this case, it's to know how to apply it, not only what's about, but how to apply it.
Okay, great. And Javier, can you just tell us your qualifications? You're a doctorate in linguistics, specialising in teaching second languages. Is that correct?
Yeah, correct. Yeah, like I was. I've been researching for some time. I got my PhD in 2015 on this topic, because teaching Spanish, in my case, as a second language.
Let's bring Bruno in. Bruno, can you tell us what's your part in this course? You're the IT expert, is that correct?
Yeah. So I teamed up with Javier a few months ago, just to help him on the IT marketing side and business side of the venture, and that's where been my involvement. Although I've been also trying the methodology myself, so I've got like a first-hand experience with it.
So what this course, if we start, is it just for British people? It's for anybody, really, isn't it? It's for anybody in any language. Is that correct?
Yes, correct. Like I'm now I teach Spanish, and Bruno is as well teaching Spanish, but actually the theory, the methodology is for any age and any language.
So at the moment, I'm really just talking about this as a perspective for the British people, as most of my followers and my audience are British. So for British people here in Spain, this could be a great way for them to go through the course, and then they could start teaching Spanish people here English. Now, I've been through the master course, and what I like about it personally is that I won't have to start by teaching people to read and write and things like that. I can just do conversation to teach them. That's correct as well, is it?
Yeah, that's why it's possible to apply with no teaching experience at all, because actually it's conversation in a special way, of course. But there is no teaching grammar, there is no specific vocabulary. It's just talking to students. So it's perfect for no experience at all.
So British people don't need to have any teaching qualifications or anything like that. They can go through this course and they can start teaching practically straight away, yeah?
Yeah.
Now, is it part-time or full-time? They can do the hours they want. Is that right?
Yeah, that's right. It's only that it's for private tutoring, or it's actually for private lessons. Because, for example, the Spanish educational system, the same as any other country, focuses on grammar, like the old teaching methods. So it's for private teaching, let's say. Yeah. It's not for schools, for Spanish schools, like public system. It's for private. It's just focusing on actually being able to speak and to understand English.
And Javier, I want to bring you in now, because you've gone through this course as well and no experience in teaching, but you've got about 10 students in your class now. Is that correct?
Yeah. I have no teaching experience. Actually, I had a really bad experience 15 years ago when I tried to teach people and I failed very badly. But yeah, following Javier's advice, I've been able to gather quite a few people and I've been teaching them for a few weeks.
Well, some of the questions I'm asking is what questions that I have going through the training, and I'm sure what some other people are going. How do we go about getting these clients? Now, I see when I joined up, there's the methodology of going through the course. I understand, but as far as going out and getting some clients, they're included in the startup package, which I must say is under €20 to get started today. You will get access to the dashboard. Now, the dashboard is where you get sales funnels and you'll get all the material, the payment method where you can send out automatic payments for your customers. But how do I actually get the customers? This is all going to be in the dashboard. Is that right?
This is not going to be in the dashboard, it's going to be in the coaching.
Through the course, and I have some experience of going through dashboards, but I'd had to call you and speak to you about a couple of things that I wasn't clicking on the links properly and things like that. So you helped me out. But the basic package is for people to get started to learn how the methodology of their course works. And also they'll get access to the dashboard with all the sales funnels and the material. But they're going to need some help. Now, if they upgrade, and there are some upgrades which I think are greatly priced, they could get the upgrades and they will be able to have you and Javier walk them through how to set it up, how to get the clients, and there'll be ongoing lessons. Is it weekly, the community lessons on that?
It will be weekly, yeah, it's exactly right, David. Unfortunately, we don't have enough bandwidth to help everyone that comes to the door. So we have to create something separate so we can ensure that people get the support they need, and it will be weekly.
Yeah. So I'm not saying the British people are thick, but I'm sure that once they've gone through it and they need help, like, for example, when I set up my page to do the sales page where it says you can teach children at a certain time, I've changed it to teaching younger adults or 16-year-olds in my area, Almeria. So I've changed the wording, things like that. So if people aren't able to do that, they're not able to copy and paste the links properly, if they need help with things like that, if they get the upgrade, then you are going to be able to help them with all of that, either Javier with the lessons or you with the dashboard and setting it all up. That's correct, yeah?
That's correct, yeah. And we will also help them with how to get customers and everything that they might need. Everything that we can help with, we're going to be there for them. So we're going to be serving our.
And it's something I want to say right at the beginning really is that even if somebody doesn't want to do any teaching at all, they can become an affiliate of this program and they can copy and paste the link and publish the link to other people and they can earn a commission from selling this course without even teaching it. That's true, yeah?
Yeah, spot on. Yeah, we thought like that would be teaching might not be for everyone, but everyone can benefit from this. Exactly as you said, people can sell it to other people that might be better suited or they want to do more teaching, and they can earn a commission.
Brilliant. Now, Javier, I think the biggest question people say as well, you know, in just going through this course, which you can do, I sat down one morning and went through it all myself, and I had to go through it twice just to make sure it sunk in my brain and everything. But how can that be right that they can do that in a day, whereas some of these colleges, they take months and months? It's the system that you've developed, and that's how the principle of it is really what I think is the main thing about this course. So what can you tell us about this system? How long has it taken you to develop it? Is it something that you've been doing for a long time, or is this a fairly new thing?
Actually, you know, I'm teaching Spanish for 20 years, and I was trying to learn myself different languages because I love languages. And example, we learn in Spain 9 years, and we are not able. When first Bruno and myself, we went together 2004 to Bournemouth, and we couldn't understand a word after 9 years of learning English. So I started researching, and I realized that something is wrong. I got one method that is called the natural method. I got to know the natural approach by crashing, and I realized that that's the way. That should be something natural to acquire the language, not to learn, but to acquire. With a natural approach. So then I changed myself to I was introducing some new stuff, and I think that now everyone can acquire the language, not learn.
Something that really struck me when I started it is years ago when I moved to Spain, 21 years ago now. I did classes for about a month, and the first week I remember I sat down with my Spanish teacher and we were learning the verb to eat: comer, comáis, comemos, comen. And for me that was a nightmare. I just said comer, that's enough. Now I know, I go out and I can say comer, and even to this day with my Spanish wife I get the past and present tense round the wrong way, but she understands what I mean. And we ended up doing role play, and that's how I learned. So this course to me reminds me of that, where I didn't write anything Spanish, I didn't read anything, but I needed to go out the next week and buy my materials in the builder's merchant. So I needed to go in and ask how to order hinges, nails and screws. And my Spanish teacher said, that'll be years. I said, no, I need to do it now. I've got to do it this week. It's my living. So this course reminds me of that, because it's something you can use the words and go out and try it straight away. You don't have to go through all the long-winded reading and writing part of it.
Yeah. Actually, what I say is that we try to learn, and we are hours and hours trying to learn grammar rules. When you are talking to someone, when you write, maybe it's possible, but when you talk to someone, there is no way. You have no time to say, okay, it's presente, pretérito indefinido, pretérito perfecto. Or in English, present, present perfect, simple past. You can only use what you have in your brain. So that's why we don't learn correctly, or we don't teach correctly. Use only grammar, and for no use.
Let's bring Bruno back in. Bruno, so say, for example, some British people said, right, I fancy doing this now. I can do this a couple of days in the week, or once a week. I can start teaching this, but I need some help with the classes, setting up the classes. This is where, if they upgrade one of the packages, they will get weekly course, a weekly. Is it a webinar you're going to be doing? Is it a conference call? How is that done? How is the teaching and training done? Is it online?
It would be a live call with everyone, with the students, and we're going to be answering questions and delivering some material. So it's going to be a mix both. We're going to help them with all the aspects, from setting up the panels correctly, how to amend them, how to make them your own with your wording, how to use our brand as well. So you can see like you are following this methodology, how to get clients, how to charge clients, and how to deliver the lessons. So yeah, it's gonna be like a business in a box kind of thing. For your British clients.
So, and Javier, I spoke to you earlier about this, and where I live in Almeria, there is quite a few young Spanish people here. I live in near Almeria Airport, and there's not many English people here. It's mostly Spanish, but there's a lot of young Spanish children that can speak a little bit of Spanish, a little bit of English, but they need help with their vocabulary. They need more help talking to people, and there isn't many British people here where they can practice. So for me in this area, I could do classes helping them to learn vocabulary Spanish. Is that right?
Yeah. That's what we call in context. Okay, like learning vocabulary, like as it should be, like in a conversation. Because, for example, when you learning vocabulary, we learned with when you need to use it or when you need to understand it. there is when you really understand, when you really learn vocabulary. For example, like in conversation, we have the brain adapted for learning languages, but it's only that we don't use it. We just try to learn vocabulary, grammar rules. So it's a conversation.
Say somebody like myself joined up tomorrow and they went through the course and they said, right now, okay, I want to start teaching, but I'm not sure about the lesson, how to structure the lesson. And they would contact you through the dashboard and hook up to one of these calls, and you would help them to teach what they need to do, what the syllabus that they would be teaching. Is that right? You would be the one to ask for that.
Yes. We have in this coaching, apart from this the IT stuff, you have everything, because in the coaching we focus on the IT, but as well in preparing lesson plans, the problems you have in class, because you can teach children, teenagers, adults. So that's why we are there until they want. So there is the coaching program is until it's needed.
I recommend that when people join, they get the upgrades, because they can get the help from you or from Bruno with the dashboard, how to set it up. And something I saw that I really like as well, on the dashboard, there's the payment process. So you can copy and paste your link, and then when you get a prospective client, they just put their details in, it books them in for the lesson, takes their payment, and it's all done automatically. So if I just speak to to Bruno on that one. So Bruno, the payment method there that's all set up in the dashboard, that needs a little bit of tweaking to make it more personal to each person, doesn't it? So for example, I'm in Almeria, I needed to change the word into Almeria, and the advert is in Spanish, which is brilliant. You can just copy the link and send that link out in Spanish. Obviously, it's going out to Spanish people, but if you don't speak Spanish, then you're going to need help in changing that. And that's something they would get in touch with you to give them help with, or in the community calls. Is that right?
Yeah. Excuse me. Yeah, that's correct. They need to do some tweakings. For example, like they need to add the payment details, for the customers to pay them rather than us. So yeah, those kind of tweaks they're going to be helping them with. And along with other things like maybe providing them with some post or marketing material in Spanish as well, so to make their life easier. Because it's not the same talking to people in Spanish that talking to people in Spanish in a way that parents, for example, from kids or other people relate to the message. So we're gonna also help them with that.
Brilliant. And as far as the lessons go now, what do you recommend charging? We can charge what we like, people, but there is some thoughts on that from you. What do you recommend is a reasonable amount to charge per person for an hour's lessons, for example?
I would recommend something like 10 euros per person. The good thing about this methodology is that they can charge what they like, but I will recommend charging something that is affordable. Because the good thing about this methodology is that allows you to teach into groups, and actually it works better in groups. So you are allowed to multiply whatever you charge per client or per student, multiply by the number of students. So in my case, I charge £10. I've got 11 students. It turns out that I'm getting like £110 per hour, which is really good for me, but it's affordable for them. So it's a win-win situation.
Yeah, that's very good. Yeah. And just to let you know, I went out yesterday and I spoke to a local bar down the end of the road from me, and I know the owners of the bar. And on a Wednesday evening, it's pretty quiet in the bar, and they've agreed formally to let me take a few students in the back of the bar and have a coffee or a beer. So the students will be buying a coffee or beer, and I can do my lessons if I do lessons in the bar. So it's not going to cost me anything to have my own class to begin with. Later on, I need to have a class like you're doing. But so to start with, people can do something like I've done. They've just arranged to do it in a bar or a coffee shop somewhere and start the classes that way.
Exactly. And in Almeria, you got an amazing weather. Worst case scenario, you could be in a park, because it's conversation. As long as it's a quiet
Yeah.
space that they can listen to you, they can interact. That's what you need. But that's a brilliant idea, David, because you got a place, it's free, and people got a place to go, and they can have a drink as well while they're giving the lesson.
I used to go to the bar quite a lot for tapas, so they know me well in there, buying lots of tapas. So, and I said to the owner, look, I've got some friends I bring here. Yeah, we know. And I said, but I'm thinking about teaching some English to some local Spanish people. I might only have 3 or 4 people to begin with, but can we sit at the back of the bar there and just be quiet conversation? And I'm sure some of them, I will have a couple of coffees or a couple of beers, I'm sure they will as well. And yep, no problem. So they've agreed. So it's not going to cost me anything to start with. So even if I only get a couple of students, I'm not going to be losing any money, only if I buy a coffee, So if I can do it that way, then other people can do it the same, can't they?
Yeah, exactly. It's very easy to, just break even with this program. It's really easy to just get a few customers, as you say, be resourceful, and, and yeah, and it won't cost you anything.
Now, Bruno, let's bring you back in. So, Bruno, you're teaching. How's it going with your students? And you're not a teacher of such. You've gone through the course, and you're now teaching 10 students, I believe, or 11 students. What's the sort of feedback? Because as an IT person, you've given out some forms to get feedback. So you're monitoring the feedback. What's it been like? What are people saying?
Well, people are really, really happy with the lessons. They are not fully beginners, like absolute beginners that I was pretending to get. So I've got quite a diverse group, people aged from 20 to 70 plus. I didn't ask the age to the ladies, but they are over 70, some of them, and it's fantastic. It's really good. And I'm gonna give you just an anecdote. I I brought my daughter to the lesson because she speaks Spanish and she wants to be a teacher when she grows old. So she came with me, and she was super impressed with the amount of understanding these students had. And it was only after 3 lessons. So on the way back in the car, we were chatting, and I asked her, "Do you think my students know better Spanish than your classmates?" And they've been learning Spanish at the school for 3 years. And she said, 100%. At the school, we still with the colors, we still with like a very simple words after 3 years. And I think your students are, above that, miles away. So yeah, that was very satisfying because I'm not a teacher. I'm more like a IT business side, and that's why it was kind of easy for me to find customers. But then delivering the lessons, thanks to Javier, it's been like a very easy to and with great feedback. So yeah.
And Javier, how many lessons a week do you think is right? What should I? It's like myself. If I'm starting, is one hour a week, is that enough, or should it be 2 hours a week? What do you recommend to get started?
It's always it's actually up to you, but the more the better, of course, always, because it's of something we call the input. As much English you can listen to, the faster you learn. Now, like once a week, 1 hour, and their results, they are really good. So and my experience as well. So it's 1 hour. It's enough. Yeah.
Something else I wanted to ask you, Javier, is what age group do you think is best? Does it really matter what age group that I teach? I have a fairly interested in teaching around 16-year-olds and above, but is it what do you think to get started? Somebody with no experience like me, is it best for me to start teaching children or older people? What would you recommend?
Yeah, actually, the problem we have is like the behavior of children and teenagers. Adults will always behave better, but it's gonna be easier with kids. But the theory, the methodology, it works. I did myself a course here in Poland. I teach at the university in Poland, so I did with kids 6-year-old to 14-year-old, and it was fantastic. Really, really nice results. And now, for example, Bruno is with adults. Bruno can say better, but yeah, and Bruno have a group of adults, and I think it's one 70-year-old woman, and with really good results as well.
If people want more information about this, now it's backed with a 30-day money-back guarantee. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's correct. I mean, people can watch it, and if they're not happy, they can pay money back. If they don't feel there's value there, it's not.
Yeah, and for me personally, I'm going to push on with this. I'm going to start teaching here. I'm going to start with once a week and see how it goes in the Almeria. And I'm looking forward to the rest of the coaching and training from you guys. And if anybody else wants to join up and they want more information on this, then I'm going to be posting a link to your page, your site, and they can get more information directly from you, or they can come and join up and get started. It's under €20 to get started. As I said before, I do recommend people that are not tech savvy getting the upgrade so they can get all the extra help and training from you with the upgrades to make sure they can set this up as a proper business. Just a last word from you, Javier. Whereabouts are you at the moment? You said in Poland?
Yeah, I teach at the university. I live in a city 2 hours away from Berlin, in a city called Szczecin.
Okay, so... Well, I think a lot of British people will be interested in this. It caught my eye because it's something I know a lot of British people living here in Spain. It's not a lot of time to get to promote this and get on board with it. They've got their time on their hands between having their tapas and their glass of wine on their terrace. They could learn this quickly, as I did, and they could go and teach it in their own area. I do recommend them going through the upgrades to get the help and the expertise from you guys. And I think it's a brilliant system, and I'm looking forward to getting on with it. So I want to say thank you very much to both of you for joining us today for this. I'll be looking forward to the experiences I'm going to have in the course. Thanks very much for this evening.
Thank you, Dave.
Thank you, Bruno, as well, for joining us. Thank you.